Speaking of endearing furry creatures,
It's the Cooper and Anthony Show.
Married people shared the wildest ways they caught their spouse cheating.
And they stayed married? That's interesting.
I don't know if they stayed married. They just caught them.
No, they might have. I got to tell you, I've gotten to a point in my life, in my relationship, my boyfriend can get away with a lot more now than he could at the beginning. Like the beginning, when I thought like at any minute I can always find somebody else, like he better be on his best behavior.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm at a point where I'm like, oh my God, I'm so lucky to have somebody. I'm so lucky to have him. He can do anything he wants and I will not be kicking him out, because if it's, I hope he's not listening, but if it's like him having sex with everybody in town and me breaking up with him, I'm not going to break up with him.
As long as he doesn't bring anything home and he doesn't get them knocked up, you're fine.
Yeah, just don't get him pregnant,
right?
And don't get COVID.
And don't get VD or herpes.
Right.
You don't bring
use a condom. Use a condom, a mask, and a hazmat suit.
One person said, mine pocket dialed me. I could hear them having sex.
Oh, my God. So he was just kind of like going at it with his phone in his pocket.
And she could hear, hello? Hello? Honey?
Joe, Joe, my God, that's so good. Joe, wait a minute. Hang on a second.
Bring milk home. Dog food. Yeah, so that's one way. I found out when I had to go to a meeting cross town, I took a cab. It was cutting through Central Park and had to stop at a stoplight. One of those horse carriages went by, and in that carriage was my husband kissing another woman.
What are the odds of that?
I know.
First of all, I have to tell you, the odds of that are so tiny because the roads that go through the park, nobody ever uses them, very few. And when they do, it's like there's nobody there. And those horse-drawn carriages, they've gotten rid of most of them. Like the odds of this are so incredibly slim that it was almost like it was fate for her to catch him.
I found my wife's notebook. Written on the first page was a 10-step plan detailing how she was going to leave me for another guy.
Okay, very much like murderers, don't write stuff down. I watch a lot of these shows. They all get caught because they write like, number 1, kill wife. Number 2, clean up murder scene. Number 3, eat sandwich. Number 4, watch Harry Potter.
How about this douchebag? So this douchebag gave his wife his Apple Watch to monitor her while she was exercising because he said she was fat. She saw all the text messages between him and his girlfriend while she had the Apple Watch on.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's obviously very not technologically savvy because it's like handing somebody your phone.
you are a smelly pirate hooker. I bet she smells like the floor of the kitchen at my old fraternity.
It's the Cooper and Anthony Show.
What is a good age for a guy to get married?
36.
You say 36?
Yeah.
It's different in every country. India is 26 is the average, and that's the youngest of any other country.
26?
26.
That's too young.
26 is the youngest, and that's India. Next is China at 27.
Well, that's a little different because in China, traditional China, you grow up and you live in the same house. You don't move out. Like in America, you move out as soon as you can. Like, your kids, well, not your kids, but most kids, as soon as they graduate high school, they go to college or they're out of the house or whatever. In China, it's more common to stay with your parents until you get married. So 27 makes sense to me.
But India, I thought there's still a lot of arranged marriages. It's weird that they wait to 26.
I've got friends here in America, interestingly enough. They came here, they live here now, yet their parents still had an arranged marriage for them set up. Mexico,
29.
Oh, that's okay. That's a lot younger than I would expect, but okay.
The U.S., it's 29.8. It's almost
too young.
30. to get married. Japan, 30.9.
That's a little better.
France, 33.
Of course, that makes the most sense because you're busy having fun in your 20s. The French have wine, have sex, have a good time. Remember, my grandmother, who's French, said to me, "You must be proficient in every room of the house."
But get married later.
Get married later. Be proficient in every room in the house, meaning be a great cook, be great in bed, you know.
Be good at cleaning the bathroom.
Be good at cleaning the bathroom, have sex on the couch, like whatever. Just be good in every room of the house. And, don't get married young.
In Ireland, 33.8.
That's interesting. Okay, I can see that. Oh, that makes a lot of sense to me, actually. I've dated a lot of Irish guys.
Up and down Ireland, so.
Yeah, I've dated everybody in Ireland, so I can tell you why. Because they were busy dating me.
Same age, Germany, 33.8.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Wait until you have a career. Wait until you're ready to, and that makes the most sense to me because in Germany, it's more logical where it's like, okay, get your 20s out of your way, get all the, the sowing of your oats, get your career going, finish school. And by the time you turn 33, you should have a house and a job and
then
a mortgage. You should be ready to move on then and have enough money to have a family.
In Italy, the average age to get married for a guy,
72.
35.5.
I was close.
Yeah, 35 and a half.
Okay, so all my Italian friends, they never want to leave the house. You got to fucking kick them. You got to, when they turn 35, their Italian mothers are like, please, you must leave now.
Oh, hell no. Have you ever had Italian mom food? You don't want to leave that.
I'm telling you, I dated Gianluca for a long time, and it took me forever to get him to get serious with me because he was so attached to his family and his mom. And finally, it was his mom that was like, Gianluca, it's time. You must go.
Mm-hmm.
Kicked him right out.
No, mom makes the best pasta. I'm not leaving. I'm staying here.
Kicked him right out. He dumped me and married someone else, by the way.
Australia, 39.3 is the average.
There you go. That makes the most sense to me.
That's the oldest.
Yeah, that's good.
40 years old is the average guys get married.
I think that makes sense because people are busy having a good time. They're enjoying their lives and not ready to get serious. Australia is not as serious as we are.
But your clock is ticking when you're 40-year-old female.
That's not true anymore. You can have babies well into your 40s. There's in vitro. I mean, and also
into your 40s. Yeah, but if you get married right at 40, you're pushing that.
Nah, you got a baby by 41, 42, and then you're good. And you know what? I know this is shocking to you, but a lot of people don't want children. So they just get married at 39 and just be with their partner. And a couple of Shetland dogs.
Yeah,
whatever.
Koala bears and kangaroos.
Do it again.
It's the Cooper and Anthony Show.
Oliver Coleman from Page 6. And now Vanity Fair, is joining us to discuss the 5 most important celebrity stories of 2021. But before we see if you agree with Ollie's choices, we have to discuss your new piece in Vanity Fair. It's phenomenal. Okay, so I'll tell you the title, and then we have a million questions. Ollie's piece is called "A Punk-Loving Father on the Road Back to Nail Polish with Help from Harry Styles and a Sequined Owl." Which is so provocative. How did you land a gig with Vanity Fair? Did you do that through an agent? Is it because you're Ollie Coleman? Like, how did that happen?
Just because, I wrote this story. It's kind of one of those things where I sort of have just been thinking about this stuff a lot. And I think it's usually the way with stories that you're kind of happy with and proud of. I just kind of wrote it in my head. It just all of a sudden kind of came into my head. So I may as well just have written it down. I wasn't doing anything with it. So I thought it was a good moment for it because all these guys, all these celebrities are coming out with, nail polish for men or gender neutral nail polish or whatever. And I figured, well, some magazines probably got to cover, this stuff. So maybe this is a good way to do it. And Vanity Fair thought so, which I thought was very, very cool of them.
It's amazing. I love that you submitted this, and I like that the article is also personal. So it's a little insight into our friend Oliver Coleman as well. I mean, first of all, I love the punk loving father. Like, didn't know that about you.
Yeah, I really am. That honestly, that's been a big thing getting me through the pandemic. You know, a little bit of like, you know, joyful fury of punk rock. You know, it's very cathartic.
So are there different colors for guys, or is it just different shades of black?
Well, I mean, all these stars who are coming out with them will say, yes, you know, you have to, this is very in for men and this is very in for men. I think that's garbage, and I think it's a way to like sell more expensive nail polish, right? Because these guys are all selling them for like $20 and they're in cute little bottles. In my opinion, you know, whatever color you like is a good color for men. But I'm a big like bubblegum pink guy. I love something very bright and cheerful.
So do you have all 10 nails pink, or some pink, some other colors? How do you do it?
I like to do all the same. I feel like a lot of people, and look, I mean, I think, you know, when I was a kid, when I was sort of first wearing nail polish as a way to kind of figure out like who is this person and what are they like and how do they feel? And at that point, like you did used to paint one finger or two fingers, and that's why nail polish is so great, because you can like, it's a very, very easy way into kind of messing around with kind of gender stuff without being kind of too much of a commitment. And you can like, if you're not feeling comfortable, you can like hide your fingers and all that kind of stuff. So it works really well. But now I kind of feel like either you're in it or you're out of it. So I just wear all 10 always.
What would you say are the 5 most important celebrity stories that happened in 2021?
All right, I'm going to do it in order to make it unnecessarily complicated. So from the fifth most important to the most important. And the first one isn't really a specific incident so much as a very powerful trend that I've noticed here. Like to put it in perspective, you know, this is nerdy billionaires as celebrities, which has really emerged in the last couple of years.
Yes.
And I remember writing a story the day after, I think it was the MTV Music Awards, or maybe it was the Grammys, one of the two. And we, of course, are very interested in who went to what party and who had the best party. And it's usually Jay-Z or Beyonce, or Jay-Z and Beyonce, or, you know, somebody who's very big and splashy and whatever. And I was looking through all of our notes from the night before, and I was like, you know, the hottest party, like the most A-list party, all the you know, people of the moment. Lil Nas X was there. I think Leonardo DiCaprio was there. It wasn't a rapper or a basketball player. It was a mathematician, an engineer. You know, Elon Musk's party was the big party. It was at the hot place at the time. Kind of is still the hot place. Zero Bond. Everybody was there. Went all night. And that is new. You know, it didn't used to be the kind of you know, cerebral, thoughtful types were the ones with the hot parties. But also Bill Gates also really fell into the kind of gossipy celebrity world.
Oh yeah, we followed his divorce. I mean, it blew up on Twitter, people making jokes about what Melinda's going to do now, and we followed Jeff Bezos' relationship. You're right. I mean, Elon Musk, when he named his son, his relationship with Grimes. I mean, all of that. You're right. These nerdy billionaires became like the Kardashians.
Right. And I think part of it is that they tend to be very weird people. And that's actually basically like the golden combination for any celebrity, right? Like they're weirdos. They do. And, you know, if you look at all of our, you know, Mariah Carey or Kanye, or we love an eccentric, and all these people with all these vast sums of money. They also do, because there's money involved, there's always, you know, affairs going on, and like it's you know, it doesn't really matter these days why you're famous, as long as you're famous and you can develop some storylines, you know, we'll accept you as a star, you know.
That's great.
So all of them have been doing it, and meanwhile they've all been launching rockets into space, you know, on the side. So, you know, it's a lot. They've got a lot going on.
What's number 4?
I'm going to go with Meghan and Harry. I mean, there's been a million things. They had their second child. They, you know, they did. It's so difficult to. This year has been so weird. It's so difficult to get in. Was that the end of last year that they moved here? Anyway, they've done a lot, but I think the big kind of, you know, their big moment this year was the Oprah interview, which I think just kind of stopped everyone dead.
Right.
Yeah, which is, you know, you got to think back a while now, right? I mean, that was kind of March, April. You know, they made some serious allegations about there being sort of racism at Buckingham Palace, that they claimed that somebody had, you know, inquired about what the likely skin tone of their child was going to be. And, you know, what was the other thing? That there was sort of some intimation that Meghan was suicidal while she was living in Britain. Part of the, you know, so there were big bombs that they were throwing, and what it shows, I think, is as fascinating as this saga has been since Brexit and all that kind of stuff. They are not going to be quiet. They're very into airing this dirty laundry, which is not what the royal family is comfortable with.
Right.
But it's what we like very much, right? And in fact, a big story I broke this year was that Harry is writing a memoir, which is really not what royals do, but it's gonna be fascinating. And the other thing that always fascinates me about this is that you know, like my dad could not be less interested in celebrity news. He really does still care about like the Plantagenets and the Tudors and the Stuarts and the, you know, and kind of stuff that happened 400 years ago. And it's a rare example of something that sort of, you know, I'm interested in because it's the big tabloid juicy story, and he's interested in because it's the kind of, you know, how will historians see this kind of fracture of the royal family of the you know, House of Windsor and all that kind of stuff. So it's just a kind of all-around fascinating story, and it will not, I mean, this has been going on several years now. I wouldn't be surprised if we do this list at the end of next year that they'll be on it then too.
They'll be on it again. Yeah, exactly. And they'll answer the question, did Kate make Meghan cry? Okay, what's next on your list?
So I think that this is essentially a proof that God exists. So the number 3 is Bennifer 2.0, right? The reuniting of Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez after what 20 something years, and it feels very strongly like the only possible explanation that I can imagine that the universe came up with this or God came up with this is like, you know, it's been a really, really rough time on Earth lately. You know, they had a lot of pandemics to deal with. You know, it's really been rough. What really makes people happy? Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck being together. They loved that in the 90s. Like, let's give them that again, because otherwise it just doesn't make any sense. So I think that's what it is. It's being juicy and gossipy and fun, and there's been, you know, Ben Affleck made dumb remarks saying that he might be still drinking if he was still with his ex Jennifer Garner, and then there's the whole messy breakup with Jennifer Lopez and Alex Rodriguez. So it's just got like it's just so much fun, and it's got everything, and they're huge A-listers, and it's just a great time.
So God
who
did
doesn't
it.
love a Deja screw?
Right.
Yeah.
And God put it all together and saw it in the future and said, this will be a good thing for humanity.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And you know, and so it has been.
No, it's true, because it's like when you talk about politics with people or COVID, it's like, you know what's going on with Jennifer Lopez? Like, who's she dating? What's going on? How's that relationship going? Are they mad at each other yet?
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, thank you, J-Lo, thank you, Ben, thank you, God.
Okay, that's a good one. I say yes to that one. Okay, what's next on your list?
Not so much fun at all. I think it has to be the really horrifying Astroworld concert that Travis Scott had, where, you know, tragically, I think 10 people died. You know, it's a big story because, I mean, it's under any circumstances, 10 people at a big event dying and many, many more being injured is a huge deal. But it really kind of, you know, it was one of the stories this year where the kind of world of entertainment stuff was you know, transferred into the kind of the front page of the newspaper kind of thing.
Right.
But, and we'll certainly have, not that they're the most important implications of this, but we'll certainly have implications for his career. But, and I mean, also he's being sued by a lot of families and stuff like that. So it's going to be a big thing that's going to haunt him, I think, for a long time. But as a person who is, interested in celebrity and how celebrity works and how it evolves, I think that this is a very interesting moment, because it seemed as if the next step here, the sort of step after the Kardashians in terms of how you use celebrity to market things, and was going to be this sort of idea of the $1 billion personal brand, right? The $1 billion celebrity. And Travis Scott has been absolutely the kind of archetype of that.
Right.
Forbes magazine called him the brand whisperer. He just has this kind of incredible ability to communicate to these audiences that are the kind of A1, most desirable audiences for companies, and sell them more or less anything. They'll buy what they're told, basically, by Travis Scott, McDonald's, I mean, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's an interesting moment, because it must give these companies pause when you realize, if you pin all this stuff on one person, put your brand and your brand's image into one person. I see the appeal of it, but at the same time, if they then, and I'm not saying this is what he did, but then if they do some very dubious things, uncareful things on stage, and again, I'm not saying this is what he did, but and then a bunch of people get killed, that's disastrous. And the thing is, humans are, to err is human, right? Brands don't like erring, and especially not erring like that, where you kind of end up with these very, very, very serious.
No, and now you're associated with the death of 10 people and young people too. But but here's the thing: but brands should know better to put all their eggs in one basket. They've been down this road before with O.J. Simpson and Tiger Woods and Lance Armstrong. So there's a lot of people who have come down the pike, mostly athletes more so than rappers, but still enough people that have been the face of so many important brands, and then they fell apart and they're suddenly associated. Nike, I think, really took a hit. Right. After the 18th woman came forward with Tiger Woods. Yeah. So, you would think they'd learn at some point to not associate that closely with somebody who might be, as you say, kind of dubious. But you're right. And then also the tone deafness afterwards of him, being photographed with his baby and just all this. It was almost like, how should he and Kylie have handled it? Afterwards, you just go on complete radio silence. Maybe that would have been the better thing to do, but it's they're so compelled. It's you know what? You can get off social media and you can shut the fuck up for a little while. It's okay. Well, we can live without you. Well.
Yeah, I mean, but that's the thing, isn't it? At the end of the day, these people do kind of think, these celebrities who have been brought up in this thing do think a bit like a corporate PR department a little bit, but ultimately, they also have impulses and feel defensive or feel angry or feel whatever, and they do things that a corporate PR, department wouldn't do, and they get in trouble. So, the question is it worth tolerating these sort of human moments in order to harness that kind of fierce loyalty that these people get from their fans, or is it just too much of a risk? I mean, as you say, this doesn't seem to be a lesson. Every time that this lesson has come up, people double down on it and say, no, we want to put more into celebrity and more into these humans who make mistakes. So I find that a fascinating aspect of that particular moment.
All right, so Ali Coleman, what is the number one most important story in the world of celebrity of 2021?
I think it has to be Britney Spears, which is in some ways, the end of a saga, a usually horrifying saga that we all saw from the beginning, from her first kind of shocking moments of her as a celebrity, Hit Me Baby One More Time, all these kind of, she just exploded and was just kind of everywhere all of a sudden. And then, this year she finally got out of her conservatorship, which she has been battling for more than a decade now.
But that's the whole thing. We've been watching the show. It's like watching The Sopranos for 13 years, and you're like, you want to see how it ends. You're like, this is never going to end. And we watched every aspect of it. You're right. Hit Me Baby One More Time, and then the famous, head shaving incident, and we saw her fall apart, and we met her kids, and Anthony and I have interviewed her, and we have a lot of opinions about her as a human being and how controlled she was, and all that kind of stuff. And so Anthony and I saw it firsthand. And we were always like team Free Britney, and we thought that was never going to happen.
Yeah, and it's always been, even at her most peculiar, it's always been difficult to not like Britney. I think everybody's always kind of rooted for her, and even when she was having trouble, I think it was fairly obvious to everyone why that was, and she was in a bad place, and I think everyone has always been kind of hoping for the best for her, and it's very nice for that to have had a kind of a happy ending. I mean, there will be more, of course, but
it's still not over yet. I mean, they're still going back and forth, so I think we're going to still be dealing with this way into 2022.
But at least it seems that she will at some point be kind of living her own life again, making her own decisions again. Those are those I think, I hope, are the important things. But then there's been another side to that, which I think goes way beyond that personal story that we're also invested in, to a couple of really interesting and valuable things. One is, it's made people revisit, I think, how that story was covered, not least because there was the New York Times documentary. I think it was called Free Britney.
Right.
That reminded a lot of people of how that was covered at the time. I think there were a number of people, the late night host who looked really bad. I think Sarah Silverman was shown making. Was she shown making jokes, or did she just apologize? Anyway, she apologized for how she spoke about Britney at the time, and I think that with the general kind of development and how people think about mental illness and how people understand mental illness, I think now has been a good. The Britney thing has kind of brought about this moment of, is it how does the media deal with somebody in that situation? And I was always surprised. When Amanda Bynes had a very public kind of meltdown, that even though there had been a sort of society-wide improvement in the way we think about mental health, the media's response didn't seem to have come forward very much from the way it dealt with Britney, right? I mean,
not very sympathetic, yeah.
It's not very sympathetic, and still kind of pretty willing to deal with it as a spectacle. And I hope that now, after having really revisited this thing and gone back and looked through, well, what did Jay Leno say, and what did this person, how, and been kind of embarrassed by how they addressed it. I hope that now people will be more sensitive and careful next time. Let's hope there isn't a next time, but sadly, there probably will be. I mean, look, we've talked a lot about Kanye and his mental health problems, and how sometimes that's impossible to ignore, and sometimes it probably really should be. So it's a difficult thing. And then, of course, the third part of why I think the Britney story has been really significant this year is that we kind of look back and seen how she as a woman was kind of cast as the villain in so many things, in her relationship with Justin Timberlake when she was like 16 or something, something like that. She was framed as this kind of, possibly kind of broke his heart, and how could she, and really with no justification.
They're still angry. I love that his fans are still angry about that to this day.
Right. And well, because it's so powerful, and especially if you're a teenager and you're so invested in that kind of thing, like boys and girls and dating and cheating, and it really makes an impression on people, and it stays with people for a very long time. And again, I think that there's been a kind of revisiting of how we are willing to cast women in particular in those kinds of narratives, how we're willing to use individuals as part of a kind of marketing campaign for an album or a tour or
Right.
whatever. And I think, poor Britney's had to go through all of this for us to reach some of these conclusions. But I think it really will finally have, we'll have a better understanding of how to deal with a lot of these things.
The story that I would add, maybe like number 6 on your list, I think one of the conversations that happened in the world of celebrity this year that to me was really like super important was the whole weight loss, weight gain, the whole weight conversation took a really interesting turn this year when Adele lost like 60 pounds and Rebel Wilson lost like 70 pounds and Lizzo was like, this is how I look, embrace me, bitches, and it really was an interesting conversation. We actually had Dr. Ian Smith on after the Lizzo thing to talk about that because we were asking him about this female empowerment and this body positivity movement. He said diabetes doesn't care about your feelings. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was really interesting because nobody had really said that. I was leaning more towards the women feeling good about themselves regardless what size they are. And I feel like that conversation really caught fire this year.
Yeah, I think so. I suppose it was around the Adele thing, which I guess is one, it was a very sort of shocking reveal because I guess she's not around, that you don't see her very often, and it was such a dramatic one. But for someone like me who picks the conversations they're going to be in pretty carefully, like I said, we were discussing earlier, like I feel perfectly at home talking about nail polish and gender and in the specific area that is relevant to me and that I have some sort of authentic experience of or whatever. But this conversation is very much a conversation that I am a very curious observer of, but is definitely not a conversation that I feel like I have any business being part of. But as somebody who is keen to listen to what people are saying and understand why people think that and what is, as it were, the kind of right thing to think and the most helpful thing to think and all that kind of stuff, I found it a very difficult conversation to follow. I found it very kind of whiplashy. I'd kind of think,
yes, okay, it felt like that. Yeah,
I see what is the kind of right thing to think here and the helpful, supportive thing to think, and then all of a sudden it kind of changed. Like, for example, I think the thing that really took me by surprise was that there seemed to be a lot of people who felt almost betrayed by Adele, which was a really kind of, I wouldn't have seen that coming. And again, I don't know. I wouldn't take a position on whether that was, what would be the if there's any justification for that or whatever. It seems unlikely that there would be, but she seemed to kind of almost adopt that look and that embracing of her body as a kind of, I don't know, what would we say, not an identity quite, but, that was her thing. And then all of a sudden, well, now I'm very thin. And where does that leave the people who really believed in what I said before? I thought that was a fascinating part of that.
But see, her very much like Jonah Hill, where, his weight loss might have been a little more deliberate. Remember, she was going through a rough time and she said she just used exercise to assuage her anxiety, and sometimes she worked out twice a day. She said she ate as much as she wanted to. She had no problem like eating away. She just discovered exercise and used it to make herself feel better. So it seems like the weight loss was a consequence to her anxiety reduction, as opposed to Rebel Wilson, who really worked hard to lose weight and diet and get a trainer and watch what she was eating, and took the wrath of her quote unquote team, who were like, now you're not the funny fat girl anymore. I think the conversation can include Jonah Hill and other celebrities, male as well, who've either gained a lot of weight or lost a lot of weight, and how that kind of mirrors what we're all doing in our society right now, which I think a lot of these do anyway. I think a lot of the stories we talked about, except for maybe Meghan and Harry, I think a lot of these actually mirror how we feel about ourselves and our own lives. Like, should I go out with an ex again? Well, J-Lo did, and that's working out. Or, so I feel like there is some personal aspect to a lot of the stories that you chose. You made really good choices. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, it's been great talking to you about this stuff on and off during the year.
And I want to encourage everybody to go to vanityfair.com. The article is called A Punk-Loving Father on the Road Back to Nail Polish with Help from Harry Styles and a Sequined Owl, which we didn't get into, but just for the Sequined Owl alone to discover that there's a story there with the Sequin Owl too. So you definitely have to go to Vanity Fair and check out Oliver Coleman's story. I'm so happy for you, my friend. That is huge to be in Vanity Fair. I'm really proud of you.
It's the Cooper and Anthony Show.
You got me straight tripping, boo.
That's right.
That's right.
Flashback. These are the sounds of days that are past. Days that are past. Days that are past.
You know, I have to say, I don't fault this kid because he's 10. But you would think that a parent would have been around or somebody would have taught him at some point this was a mistake. The triple dog dare claims another victim.
Oh.
Yeah, this is a scene straight out of the movie A Christmas Story. It's a 10-year-old in Indiana. He got his tongue stuck to a metal pole. A light pole, yeah. He's a fourth grader. He's unidentified because I don't want to embarrass him any further. But a friend of him dared him to lick the pole in this cold, cold weather, and he did. He licked the pole. That's what he did. And I gotta warn you, don't try it. Don't try that. Don't even be curious. Because, the police had to get his tongue off, and the tongue has not stopped bleeding, and they had to teach his mother how to handle his tongue now. And
I wonder how long that takes to heal.
put yourself in that situation. Well, I think things in your mouth heal quicker than most other places in your body, I've heard. But still, it takes a long time to heal. It's your tongue. You need your tongue at all times. It's not like it's a finger and you just wrap it up and, you can let it rest for a little while. You need the tongue always.
To talk, to eat, to drink, to...
All that stuff. Yeah, so I would say don't do that. That's one of those things I'm going to warn you right now. Don't try it. Do not do that. Here's something else I'm going to tell you not to try. Not that you're going to go out and buy expensive shoes right now in this economy. However, if you were planning to, or if you see all the great sales going on, you're thinking, I see all the movie stars with those cute little red bottom shoes. I'm going to go buy myself a pair. Those 6-inch heels, they look fantastic. I am here to tell you, and this is my area of expertise as a shoe lady, do not purchase those Christian Louboutin shoes. Do not believe the hype. They are not the least bit comfortable. Unless you're somebody that goes from limousine to limousine to limousine, there is no reason why. Just because it's cute, just because it's a celebrity. That's one shoe thing I want to tell you. Here's a second shoe thing I want to tell you.
Okay.
If you're not used to the high heels, and you're somebody who takes along a pair of flats with you, and you wear the flats the whole time, throw on the heels for the event, and then put the flats back on, that's even worse for you. Because you get the cramping in your calves and in your feet because your feet going up and they're going down. They're going up and they're going down. That's even worse. So those are my two. Do not try that. That's something I'm warning you right now. Don't try it. Don't try the Christian Louboutin. They look cute. They're very uncomfortable. And don't try the high heel, low heel, high heel, low heel. Make a decision and go for that one. That's what I'm here to tell you.
I had my mom used to make us eat liver.
Oh, no.
So if you've never had liver, I'm here to tell you, don't.
Don't try liver.
Don't even try it. There's nothing good about it. Just don't.
Yeah,
don't even buy it.
Yeah, whose idea was that in the first place? Who thought liver was a good idea?
I don't know. She would do it once a month. What's tonight? Liver. Oh, come on. Are we poor?
It was like a punishment.
Liver, and she'd put onions and she would put it on the stove, and that's what we would eat for dinner.
Ugh.
So if you haven't had that, don't
try it.
Yeah,
don't try it. Okay, so what's something that you should warn everybody right now? Warn us right now. Don't try it. You've tried it. It's horrible. Tell us right now what we should absolutely not do. Warn us. 877-6-Cooper.
Yeah, a product, food, a car.
Yeah.
Clothes.
Now, Sean Lee says, and believe me, I was shocked that he told me he's done this, but he says most bachelors had at some point in their lives. He's warning people, do not iron clothes that are on you. Take the clothes off to iron them.
That's right up there with the double dog dare tongue.
Do not. He says every guy has tried this, and they can't. Only bad things can happen. Do not iron clothes on your body.
No, I've never tried that. I tried to put clothes in the microwave to dry them before. And that doesn't work very good.
No, it doesn't.
No, you would think it would.
Yeah,
because
logic
it cooks
would tell
things
you.
Real quick.
Funny, yeah, funny that doesn't work.
It didn't work real well.
Yeah, and you know how you know it doesn't work?
How?
There's no clothing setting on there. There's popcorn. There's time.
But that's not it, though. Somebody's not as smart as I am to think of that, or there would be. See, that's what I was thinking.
No, see, there's a reason why there's no clothing setting on there. Really important. Yeah, and you know what? And along those same lines, don't heat up your clothes in the oven either, because then you're just cooking them, and you could set them on fire.
Yeah, see, it's safer to be in the microwave at that point, I think.
Okay, so I'm going to warn you right now. Don't try it. What do you want to warn everybody? Do not try. I've tried it. It's terrible. Don't do it. Warn us. 877-6-Cooper. Hi, Bill.
Hey.
Now, Bill, you like the liver, huh?
Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, you know, if you ever watched Anthony Bourdain and all that stuff, the exotic foods and all that, people used to eat. Like if you live on a farm and everything.
Yeah, but are you going to eat that if you don't have to?
Sure.
Really?
Not bad. Yeah.
You take that over a hamburger.
Well, they don't serve at McDonald's, but probably better for you than fast food.
See, Bill, there's a reason they don't serve liver at McDonald's.
Yeah, and that is?
Yeah, you're the
Nobody
only
would
one.
buy it.
You're the only one that would buy it.
They wouldn't make any money. They'd be bankrupt.
They'd be like Circuit City.
Hi, Linda.
Hi.
Okay, Linda, warn us right now. What should we definitely not try?
I can add to the liver comment. My mother used to make it once a week and add Brussels sprouts with it.
Oh.
And I also hated milk and needed to be a part of the Clean Plate Club. I did a lot of table sitting on those nights.
Oh.
So don't do it.
I feel like you have to really hate your children to make them eat liver and Brussels sprouts.
Yes. The combination together, yeah, it was pretty lethal.
Did you want to call child services on her?
Pardon?
Did you want to call child services on her when she fed you that?
And you know what's funny? I'm a child protection social worker.
Okay, so you tell me. Is that something? Should children be put in foster care if they're forced to eat liver and Brussels sprouts?
Oh, that's child abuse all the way.
See, and Linda's a professional, so she'd know.
Right.
Yep.
And she says don't.
What's
Yeah,
worse?
don't.
What's worse? Me tying my kids up with duct tape or Brussels sprouts and liver?
Oh, it's a toss-up. It's a toss-up.
And she would know. She's a professional.
Yeah. Thank you, Linda. Okay, warn us right now. What's something that you're telling us right now? Do not try it. I'm sorry. I've tried it. It's terrible. Don't do it. 877-6-Cooper. How about you, Rick? Give us a good warning.
Well, first, I love what you said about liver. As far as who looked at that and said, let's whip that up.
Right. That looks like food to me.
Right.
Who said that?
Exactly. Who did that? No, but mine is diet cheese. Either eat the freaking cheese or don't.
Right.
But, have a little real cheese. Diet cheese is disgusting.
It is disgusting. What's the point of it? Just cheese is good for you, right?
Well, have an ounce of good cheese instead of 8 ounces of that stuff that's got no taste. The texture is disgusting. There's no point in having it. It doesn't melt.
It doesn't. Right. Any
doesn't
cheese
melt.
that doesn't melt is not cheese.
Put it in the microwave with the clothes. Neither one's going to get a reaction. So that's my 2 cents.
That's a good. Okay, thank you. See, Rick has warned us. If you're thinking about trying diet cheese, if you're going on a diet, the one thing you should not skimp on is the cheese. Eat cheese. Have cheese. It's okay. You'll live. People have been eating cheese for millennia, and they've been fine.
Generic chocolate syrup. Don't
Excuse
get
me?
that either.
Don't get generic chocolate. So get what?
Get the
Ubix
Hershey.
or Hershey's?
Get the real stuff.
The real stuff.
The wife bought the generic for I don't know why one day, and it's the big bottle. It's the huge one, the size of your head. So you got to use the whole thing before you get another one, and it was just horrible for 8 months.
You realize Linda's coming to your house now. Linda's going to be
She's
there.
going to take me away.
No, the kids, they can't have that for chocolate milk.
Yeah, I think the real chocolate milk was a quarter more.
Exactly. Spend the quarter, Mrs. Anthony.
Right.
Hi, Shelley.
Hi, I had another liver comment.
Oh, please.
The liver in the body is actually the filter, so it collects all of the grime and all the toxins in your body, so it really can't be that good for you to eat, I could imagine.
That's a very good point. So if that's the thing that collects all the toxins and everything, why would you want to eat toxins from the animal's toxins?
Exactly.
Yeah. See, another reason why they don't serve it at McDonald's. It's exactly why. I think they'd be liable.
You think?
Yeah, it's toxic.
Liver and cheese sandwich at McDonald's, though, on the dollar menu.
Liver and diet cheese.
Brussels sprouts.
Now, Carl, you warn us. What should we not try?
Green beans and ketchup.
Oh,
Together?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Who put those together for you?
Me.
Why?
Because I liked ketchup. And
you just wanted a ketchup delivery system, and you chose green beans.
I tried it with carrots before, and I liked it with carrots. So I didn't like green beans, so I figured the ketchup would hide the flavor, and it didn't.
So you eat ketchup and carrots?
I used to. I don't anymore.
What else is good with ketchup?
Very dry steak.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How about eggs? You like the eggs with the ketchup?
Oh, I do.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Scrambled eggs and ketchup. Love it.
You like that?
Yep.
Yeah, I grew up in Brooklyn. That's all we ate.
I guess
it was like ketchup and scrambled eggs for breakfast, or you didn't eat breakfast. Those were your choices.
Well, you could have the scrambled eggs without the ketchup.
No, they didn't give you that option. I'm telling you, even if you went to a diner, they put the ketchup down with the eggs. And if you didn't put it on the eggs, the waitress came over and put it on for you.
Like they do the pepper?
Why can't you open that bottle? What's wrong with you? Don't you know how to eat eggs around here?
Go back to Brooklyn. Come on.
Coney Island. Hi, Matt.
Hey.
Now, Matt, what's something that you need to warn us right now? Do not try it.
Well, before I warn you, let me just tell you, those toxins in the liver, the reason I would eat them is because they taste good.
Oh, no.
Yeah, mustard on liver mush on a biscuit, you don't even know, man. Okay.
But are you glowing afterwards? Is there something emanating from your stomach, like a light of some sort, because it's toxic and nuclear?
Do I care? If I've been eating McDonald's, do I care?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good point.
So, all right, anyway, don't try the following two things. One, a dry martini. Let me just tell you, if you want a dry martini, just go into your medicine cabinet, get some rubbing alcohol, pour it over some ice. There you go. You dry martini right there.
Yep, he's got a point.
Okay?
Yeah, it's a very good point. Uh-huh.
I'm not going to say anything more about that. Second thing, don't try shark. If you want some shark, just go grab some napkins, soak it in water, and then eat that. That'll taste better than shark.
So shark meat tastes like napkins dipped in water.
Yeah, that's basically it, man. There's no flavor, and that's about the texture of it. Man, what a waste of money.
See, that's why I say eat the salmon. Don't waste your time on the shark meat. Even Matt says it.
And try some liver mush, man.
Okay, Matt, thank you for the warning. And we're not going to try liver much, frankly. We're not going to try that.
No.
Yeah, I don't think so. It doesn't sound delicious. Just those two words together.
Mush and liver.
Anything with the word mush in it.
No.
Oh, well, mushrooms are okay.
Liver mush on a biscuit.
Ugh. I may never eat again. Carrie, you need to warn us right now. What should we not do?
Don't buy cheap paint.
Good one. Now, how come?
If you're going to paint a room, just spend the extra money, go to Sherwin-Williams, and get the good paint, because you'll spend so much time and frustration trying to cover those walls, and it'll chip and it won't wash. Just buy the good paint.
And Carrie, you know why that's really good advice? Because how often do you paint walls? You know, you may do it once every few years. So spend the money and have the good walls.
Yeah, it's not like the difference between buying, a Volkswagen and a Lincoln.
Right.
It's not that much more money for the good paint. Just go buy the good paint, please. I have personal experience. And you know what?
Yeah.
I gave that advice out, and I just did my daughter's room, and she loved this certain color, and I went and bought, well, I can't tell you the brand, can I?
No.
But it was
I
a
can't
cheaper
give them
version?
free advertising, can I?
No.
Okay, well, I bought the cheaper stuff, and I went against my own advice, and I paid the price.
See, you didn't even listen to you.
I don't even listen to myself.
And look what happened.
Right.
I have all this good advice, believe me. I love telling people what to do. I won't even listen to me.
Okay, well, heed Carrie's advice, everybody. Do not buy cheap paint. Spend the extra $5. What's $5? Because it's not like it's not like tissues, something that you buy a lot of. How often do you paint your house or your walls?
Couple
not
of
that
years.
often. Yeah. Spend the money. Do the good paint. I'm with her. Hi, Randy. Hey, Randy. What happened to Randy?
Randy's gone.
Oh, it's too bad because I want to hear what Randy had to say. All right, so what we're talking about is we want you to warn us right now. What should we not do? Like this, it started with this kid, the triple dog dare, and he was dared to put his tongue on a cold light pole, and of course the police were called, and the kid's tongue is a mess. So warn us, what should we not do? 877-6-Cooper. Hey, Cinda.
Hi, Cooper. How are all you all doing tonight?
We're good. We're good tonight, and we'll be better if you give us a really good warning.
Okay, well, I'm going to give you a warning, but I also want to end my call with something good that you need to try as well.
Oh, yes, please.
First things first, do not use cheap laundry detergent. You have to use 3 times as much to get your clothes clean. It's not worth your money to save the extra buck.
Oh, that's good. That's good to know.
Yeah, and it breaks you out, or it broke me out. So.
Okay, so not only did you have to use 3 times as much, but whatever was in it was obviously not good to be next to your skin.
Right, and I don't know if it's a sensitive skin thing or if it's just a cheap laundry detergent thing, but don't try it.
Okay. And what should we try?
Okay, and I was totally against it, but my husband turned me on to it. Try cheese toast with marshmallows.
Cheese toast with... Oh, give us the recipe. How does this work?
It's heaven. It's the greatest thing I've ever tried. What you do is you take, just regular loaf bread, put a slice of cheese or some... It's better with just the sliced American cheese.
Okay.
Put a slice of American cheese, a couple of large or small marshmallows on it, put the other piece on top, stick it in the oven till the marshmallows and the cheese melt, and it's the best thing you've ever had.
And when he first told you about that, did you think it was the grossest thing you've ever heard?
Yes, I refused to try it. The 2 times he tried to get me to do it, and then he forced me to try it, and I've loved it ever since.
Really?
It's more of a dessert, though. It's more like a sweet dessert, like a treat.
That sounds like one of those things that a bachelor, that's all they have left in their refrigerator. It's some marshmallows, some cheese, and some bread, and they think, well, this could be a sandwich.
Well, I think Mom actually came up with it when they were kids. She used to make it for them. I guess it was a cheap little snack she used to make for them. But you'll try it, you'll love it. I promise.
Okay, you know what? I'll try anything, and those are 3 things I like separately. I'm going to try them together. Okay, so what's something you need to warn us right now? Do not try it. 877-6-Cooper. Hi, Janine.
Hi.
Now, Janine, what should we absolutely not do?
What's that?
What should we absolutely never do?
All right, when you're little and your mom and dad make you sit at the table until you're finished with your food, and you happen to have mushrooms on your plate, and for me, I hate mushrooms, and so I would feed them to the dog under the table and then lie and say I'm done with my dinner, and then 2 hours later, when you're in the living room watching like Fantasy Island or Dukes of Hazzard, the dog pukes them up in front of everybody.
Oh, you're like, dog?
The dog blew it.
Oh,
I guess they
blew your
can't
little
digest
secret.
mushrooms.
So feed the dog meat, feed the dog things that could stay in its stomach, but mushrooms, not such a good idea.
You got it.
That's good. See, that's a hot tip. I think kids all over the country right now are thinking, well, that's good to know.
Well, I just have to say I love your show, Cooper, and I love you on the Confession show, too.
Oh, thank you. That's very sweet. Thank you very much, Janine. I really appreciate
girlfriend.
that. Thank you. Thank you. Carol, what should we never do?
Never allow your 2-year-old to eat an entire can of mandarin oranges.
Now, why would that be?
It's healthy. Look, he's eating fruit. Yeah, no.
How come? What happens to a child after they've had a whole can of mandarin oranges?
Well, let's just say it's not as exciting on the back end of the experience.
Oh, no.
Better going down than coming out.
Oh, my goodness. You're just like, wow.
Your colon isn't even that big. Where'd all this come from? Say that again?
I'm sorry?
Say that again?
Unless you get to give the 2-year-old to someone else when the back end becomes an issue, no.
Wow.
Well, actually, that's a hot tip if you are babysitting for somebody who you don't like the parents of.
Exactly. But your own child, just don't do it.
And I think, Carol, that's very important. So I think there's a lot of moms out there that do not know that mandarin oranges are not good for a 2-year-old's digestive system.
No.
See, okay, that's good. See, and that's why we're doing this topic.
Yep.
It's very important. See, that's a public service Carol just did.
Now we know.
Very important. We didn't know that. Did you know that?
I had no idea.
See, and now you do. That's why we're doing this. Hi, Jane.
Hi. What you should never do is mistake wasabi for guacamole. we were in a national buffet in the Bahamas. You know, so everything looks a little different anyway.
Right.
And the chips were nearby, and so I plopped a big wad of what I thought was guacamole on my plate and came back and proceeded to, and I love guac, so I always use a lot of it, and I dipped it and put it in my mouth, and I literally was green. It, it stuck to the roof of my mouth. It was horrible. So my family was a little mortified because I took a cloth napkin and, you know, was wiping the inside of my mouth out. So.
Well, you had to. I mean, I can't imagine biting into. If you don't know what wasabi is probably one of the hottest mustards you could ever have. And
it's like eating hell itself.
Yeah, it's used in Japanese food. You use it with the sushi, but you always mix it with something. No one. You should never eat wasabi on its own. It can tear your insides out. And Jane found out the hard way.
It was pretty embarrassing. So, yeah, never mistake it.
Plus, it tastes terrible on chips.
Yeah, the worst part was the texture, you know, and literally, I mean, I bet I put a tablespoon on. It was bad. And it was 3 years ago, and it's still fresh in my mind.
See, that says something. If you're still talking about 3 years ago, that was a terrible experience.
It was.
And yet I'm craving guacamole now for some reason. Thank you, Jane. See, that was very important. Mm-hmm. That's the kind of thing we're talking about. So now what important thing, what is some information you need to warn us right now? Warn us. Do not try it. 877-6-Cooper. Randy, warn us. Help us.
Okay. Sorry I wasn't there before. I could hear you guys.
I know. We were like, Randy?
I know. Anyway, I'm not going to warn you, but I'm going to tell you about a story my son, when he was little, got stuck to a metal object with his tongue.
No.
Yes, we were in the grocery store, and he was maybe 3 years old, and he was climbing in to the freezer, like where the ice cream is, and I'm yelling, "Get out of there, get out of there!" And I run over, and all of a sudden he's just screaming, like bloody murder, just screaming. Well, I'm thinking he's pitching a fit because I'm going to take him out of where he's wanting to climb, and I'm just saying, "You need to be quiet. Come on, let's go." And I pulled him off of it and just ripped his tongue. He had his tongue stuck to the metal rack in the freezer section, and I didn't know it. I thought he was just climbing in there and hanging on, and oh my gosh, the blood was just everywhere. It looked like a crime scene. There was so much blood, and he's screaming, and all the people that work there are running around.
And they're like, "What did you do to that child?"
It was so embarrassing. And the next day, my friend went into the store, and they were still talking about it. They're like, "Oh yeah, this little boy yesterday, ha ha," and they're all laughing. She goes, "Well, that's my best friend's son."
So now what happens to a tongue? How long does it take to heal, and what do you do?
You know, it healed really fast, and I didn't do anything special, to be honest. I was too ignorant, I guess. But, I mean, it wasn't probably nothing like this kid, because apparently they had to call EMS and stuff. He was only stuck for a second. It was a little wire
just a
rack.
little bit of blood,
I'm sure it wasn't, But it got better really quick, and he didn't complain much after the initial little crying.
Right. And he's not scarred for life. He's okay.
No, and you know what? I said, he's 19 now. I should ask him if he remembers. He just walked through the room. I should ask him if he even remembers it happening. But we laughed about it.
Does he remember?
I don't know. I need to ask him that.
Yeah, ask him. I'd be interested to hear that. Well, thank you, Randy. See, that's a cautionary tale. Even for 2 seconds.
Because she walked up to him and said, "Get out," and took his arm and ripped him out of there.
You know she did. Of course she did. Yeah, that's what you do. Mm-hmm. Hey, Connie.
Hi.
So, Connie, warn us. What should we absolutely never do?
Take anything with the word cleanse in it. You get it, right? Like, I don't have a story, but I think that's enough said.
If it says cleanse, walk away from it.
That's what I think, especially if it's like a GNC or, if it's at your local vitamin place. Yeah, just walk away. Walk away.
Yeah, don't take it.
Run.
Yeah, run away.
Okay.
See, Connie, that's very good. See, that's a hot tip. That's the kind of thing we wouldn't think about.
Right. We'll write that down. No.
Yeah, do not
cleanse.
take anything with cleanse. Yeah. Unless, of course, you're cleaning your countertop.
Then you could use cleanse, but
Yeah, then
not
it's
nothing
okay.
that goes in your body.
Don't ingest anything with the word cleanse in it. Colon cleanse, walk away.
Okay.
Yeah, colon cleanse means you'll be on the toilet for the next 8 months.
Okay.
Yeah. Hi, Haley.
Hi.
Haley, now this is a fellow 10-year-old. This is somebody who is one of your contemporaries, and they stuck their tongue on a pole. And you would know not to do that, right?
Yeah, kind of.
And now, what is something that you have learned from experience to tell everybody not to do?
If you're having dinner and you don't like your food, do not stick it in your pocket. Even if you wrap it up in a napkin, whatever you do, do not stick it in your pocket.
Now, why is that?
Because usually, like, kids at my age, they usually forget to take it out later when their parents aren't looking, and it stays there. And, like, somebody goes to do your laundry, and they find it in your pocket, and it's usually your parents, and they yell at you, and you usually end up in trouble. And it's also really nasty. Usually, like, your pants or whatever, they're ruined.
Oh, right, because, like, mold can grow and that kind of thing.
Yeah, and it's really nasty. There was mold on my carrots that I didn't like, and it was nasty. They were, like, one of my favorite pants. I'm like, okay, ew.
See, that's a good cautionary tale. You found out the hard way, but not only do you get caught because they find the food in your pocket, it's moldy and it ruins your pants.
Yes.
Okay. That's a good one. Thank you, Haley. That's very important.
Don't put carrots in pocket. Got it.
Absolutely. Don't put carrots in pocket.
Okay.
Because you get in trouble and they get moldy. Ron, what's something we should never do?
Well, two things, Cooper. I grew up on a farm up in Ohio, and years ago we used to have electric fence about 6 inches off the ground to keep the cattle and livestock in.
Sure.
Well, you never want to dare anybody to try to see who can hold on the longest. That's the first one. But more important, never pee on an electric fence.
Don't pee on an electric fence.
Did you try it?
Yes.
And
what happens?
I stood up right away.
Does it hurt?
Yeah, it'll give you a little tingle.
And that's not where you want to get a tingle.
Not the good kind of tingle.
No.
Yeah.
Have a good evening.
Thank you, Ron. See, I gotta say, it may be a no-brainer for some of you, but for others, do not pee on an electric fence.
Yeah, because
Very
we walk
important to know
past
that.
it and we go, I'd like to pee on that.
I feel that's more of a male problem. I can't imagine a woman is going to get in that situation.
You never know.
I don't know how a woman would, from physics,
Well, you
or
could
physics
do it
perspective.
You can do it like this.
No, nobody does it like that.
You can do it like this.
Nobody even said. Why would anybody
Heidi, could you do it like this?
No.
I think I'd get my butt electrocuted first before.
Well, how about like this?
No, that's not a position women get into comfortably
No,
anyway.
no.
We would never. No, that's not how it happens.
How about like this?
Do you know nothing about the female anatomy? Seriously?
You can do it like this.
I don't even know. How do you even keep
Somebody
your leg
could hold
like
your
that?
leg like this.
No, your leg doesn't even. Legs don't even. They're not supposed to do that. That's an unnatural leg position anyway.
You could try
and
it.
Bizarre.
You only live once.
Really, you really do not understand the female anatomy at all, do you? Hey, Deanna.
Hi.
Now, Deanna, you know this situation, right, with the triple dog dare?
Yeah.
What
Definitely.
happened?
It was summertime, and me and my friend had just watched a movie, and they were like sticking their tongue on the poles in the movie, and she said that could never happen, and I assured her it could. So I dared her to stick her tongue in the freezer, on the freezer shelf, and she got stuck, and we were pouring hot water on it. It just made it worse. It made like a pool of ice around her tongue. And so I told her, you're going to have to rip your tongue out of there. And she left like the tip of her tongue behind in the freezer.
No!
And then all my friends were laughing at her and stuff, because we were like 18 at the time. All my friends were laughing at her and stuff because she was like missing like a little bit of the tip of her tongue.
Oh.
But it healed up and stuff. But, I felt really bad.
Yeah, I would imagine. See, this is one of those things that it may look cute in the movies, but Deanna's here to warn you, don't put your tongue on anything frozen.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, unless it's ice cream.
Then I had to do it. She made me do it.
And you did it?
Yeah, I did it.
Why?
Just to show her I could do it. She said, you wouldn't do it if I dared you. And I was like, yeah, I'll do it. And I stuck my tongue in the freezer, and nobody would get hot water for me.
And did you have to pull your tongue out?
Yeah, and I lost more of my tongue than she did.
Now, after she lost her tongue, why on earth would you have tried it?
when you're 18, you do stupid things sometimes.
Yeah, it sounds like a good idea at the time, but you think that's her problem. That's not going to happen to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's usually how it goes. But see, Deanna's here to warn us firsthand.
Don't do it.
Don't do that. Jessica, please warn us. What should we absolutely never do?
I made the mistake one time of telling my friend I have some muscle pains and, I really need something more than Tylenol to fix it. She's like, oh, I have something. It's a slight muscle relaxer. Here, take it. It turned, I couldn't lift my arms. I couldn't walk. I was like, what did you give me? Oh, I gave you the wrong thing.
Hey, wait, don't take that. No, don't take. Oh, you already took it.
Oh, Jessica, are you in a coma? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to give you those pills.
Exactly. I was like, I still to this day have no idea what it was. I just know I could not force myself to move.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, so Jessica says never take medication from a friend. Do not.
Do not. Even if they say, oh, it's just Tylenol. No.
Yeah, no, right. Unless you saw them walk out of Walgreens or CVS or wherever you go with a bottle of Tylenol. And even that, you go buy it yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah. Thank you, Jessica. See, that's an important warning.
Okay, got that.
Found out the hard way. Can't lift your own arms. Okay. Obviously, there's a problem. Okay, hi, Hunter.
Hi, Cooper.
Hunter, can you warn us, please? Tell us something we should never do.
Well, you should never take jelly beans from Halloween. Because my friend one day, Alexis, this woman gave them jelly beans. They had black, green, and red.
Uh-huh.
And the black tasted like poop, the green tasted like puke, and the red was really, really hot.
Okay, so never eat jelly beans from a stranger because you don't know what they really are.
Yeah, I know. And Alexis dared me to try one, and I tasted the green, and I threw up. It was really
that's
bad.
Hunter, that's a very important warning to tell people. That's why they tell you don't take candy from strangers. That's where that came from.
Or medication.
Or liver. We learned a lot tonight.
I know.
And don't give children mandarin oranges. Seems like a good idea at the time. Full of vitamin C. Apparently not so good coming out.